Hello everybody, this is Robipony here, and I will be reading a story for you. Now normally I won't be reading stories, normally I'll just be trying to review stories and such. But I came across this story that I liked, and nobody has done a reading of it on YouTube, and the chapters are short, so I figured I would do it. So, I hope you will join me as I read The Mentally Unstable Wing of Ponyville Hospital by TwistedSkittles. Chapter 1. Meeting Screwloose. It was a beautiful day in Ponyville. The birds were chirping, fillies were playing, the sun was shining, a perfect day for a walk, which is why Pinkie Pie was bouncing happily in the park. She had just stopped to sniff a flower when she noticed a blue pony in front of her. Her white mane was tangled and her eyes were bloodshot, yet she was panting happily as a dog would. She was covered in bruises and scars, mostly on her sides and her back. "Oh, hi there!" Pinkie Pie smiled at her. "My name is Pinkie Pie. What's yours?" The pony merely barked happily at her, wagging her tail, ready to play. Pinkie grabbed the pony's collar and looked at the tag. "Screwloose," she read. The pony barked at the sound of her name and licked Pinkie on the cheek. Pinkie chuckled and wiped the drool off of her face. Then she remembered seeing the pony before, when Rainbow Dash stole a book from the Ponyville hospital. "Hey, you're that pony that thinks—" Pinkie trailed off when she realized that the pony thought she was a dog. Pinkie smiled at Screwloose, then went over to a tree and retrieved a tennis ball. "Hey, Screw, do you want to play fetch?" Pinkie asked excitedly. The strange mare nodded excitedly, and her mouth drooled at the sight of the ball. "Okay, fetch!" With that, Pinkie threw the ball, then waited for the pony to come back. Screwloose arrived a few seconds later, and dropped the ball before her new friend. She wagged her tail, waiting for the ball to be thrown again. Pinkie threw the ball, and Screw chased after it. This continued for some time, as it seemed Screw had eternal energy. Pinkie was getting tired. She felt like ending the game, but every time she saw Screw's happy face, with a mixture of crazy, she would throw the ball again with a tired smile. Finally, while Screwloose was supposed to be retrieving the ball, Pinkie heard a voice off in the distance, in the direction that the dog/pony had gone. "There you are, Mutt," she heard the voice say. "You got out again." Pinkie ran over and saw that it had come from the nurse, Redheart, who had Screw on a leash and was dragging her away. Instead of her happy doggy grin, Screwloose was growling and pulling fiercely at the leash, trying to get away. She had a muzzle on her. "Hey, Nurse Redheart," Pinkie said as she walked in front of the grumpy nurse. "Can Screwloose and I finish our game of fetch?" The nurse frowned angrily at her. "So you think she's a dog, too, eh?" "Stay away from her. She's dangerous," she replied as she walked around Pinkie. The pink pony zipped in front of her again. "No, she's not. I bet if you loosen that collar and don't pull so hard on that leash, oh, and take that muzzle off, I'm sure she would be nicer to you," Pinkie said. The nurse rolled her eyes and suddenly shoved Pinkie out of the way. "Trust me, kid. It's a strange world out there. You should be glad you didn't get rabies from this monster." With that, the nurse dragged away Screwloose, who continued to pull at the leash. Pinkie met with her eyes and saw the blue ponies were full of fear. Screw whined as she was taken away, leaving a confused and sad party pony alone. Pinkie was now inside the Ponyville hospital. She rang the bell at the reception desk and waited for some pony to greet her. It had been a few days since she had seen Screwloose, and something didn't feel right. Except for Pinky herself, the waiting room was empty. The entire hospital was silent, as if it was holding its breath, waiting for its visitor to leave. There were signs engraved on the wall. They read the usual emergency rooms and cancer patients, with arrows pointing to where they were. But there was one sign that Pinky didn't understand. It was a single arrow pointing right. Then it pointed left. Some pony had tried to scrape it off unsuccessfully, as if they wanted to hide it. The hospital building was old, and the princesses had forbidden any pony to take down buildings or sections of ones, for they wanted to keep the town just how it was. "Can I help you, miss?" a happy pony said. Pinky quickly turned her head away from the sign and looked at the happy worker. She was blonde, with blue eyes and a bright, shiny, fake smile. "Oh, yes. I'd like to see my friend Screwloose. I was just wondering if she was doing okay," Pinky answered. She thought she saw the blonde pony's smile vanish, but then she was smiling once again. "I'm afraid we have no Screwloose here," she said, with a fake, silly voice. "But I just saw her a few days ago. She has to be here. There are no other hospitals around here until Philadelphia." Pinky frowned at the receptionist. "Sorry, no Screwloose here," the blonde replied again. Pinky narrowed her eyes for a split second, then suddenly smiled. "Silly me! I must have imagined her. You know me, silly old Pinkie Pie." Pinky shrugged at her sheepishly. "Sorry about that. Have a nice day," she called as she went out of the door. "You too," the blonde waved. "But it was so weird. I swear she was real," Pinky told her friends. They were at a picnic in the park, listening to Pinky as she told them what had happened. She had been walking back and forth anxiously, looking up every now and then to make sure they were listening. "I don't know, Pinky. I don't remember any Screwloose or Barking Pony," Twilight told her. "That's because you don't know everybody in Ponyville," Pinky insisted. "She has a point, Twilight," said Rainbow Dash. "But I think I would remember a pony if she thought she was a dog." "And why would they just say that she was on a walk or something?" Fluttershy asked. "Wasn't she on one when you met her?" Applejack added. Pinky shook her head. "She escaped from the hospital. She wouldn't let her out again," she explained. "Maybe you're just imagining things," Twilight said. "Maybe," Pinky said, and took a bite of her sandwich, while the others chattered away. She kept thinking about Screwloose.